How's it going, everybody? Blades of God here from Hammer Bros Gaming, coming at you with the newest installment in our Gears 5 Master Escape Alternate Guide series. In this series, we are going to be using a randomizer to pick our classes to go through and run all of the Gears 5 Escape maps on Master Difficulty a second time, and I'll be pairing or linking the original and recommended class setup and video guide in the description of this video. So you could see that Beardsley has already spun up the Blademaster class. I myself spun up the Pilot, and Pyrocytterwatt spun up the Brawler class. You can see here we're also using a randomizer to select the map we're going to run. A couple of additional rules we put in place for this new series is that we are not going to run a map a third time until we've done an alternate guide for all of the maps that we've already run the original time. Also, if any of the classes that we spin up are level 7 or lower, we are going to be allowed to respin that class. So for instance, Beardsley has I believe it's a striker that is only a level 2, so if his spin of the randomizer was to come up and land on striker, he would be able to re-roll that, and we don't show the classes that we respin. I'm only showing you the classes that are the spins that land on the classes that we use. And because these are alternate guides, we're not reusing any of the classes that we used in the original guides. So we ended up spinning up the Corruption, and looking at the modifiers, we have Poison Rejects, More Health, More Lethal, Ammo Starvation, Iron Man, Ghost Rejects, and Longer Recharge. So nothing too out of the ordinary. Ghost Rejects and Poison Rejects are sort of the unique modifiers for this map. The map is very reject heavy, it's very reject centered, but it's nothing that you can't deal with. I mean, it's not the most difficult map, but by no means is it a walk in the park. The classes that we ended up spinning up are pretty good. The Pilot gives us the ability to use that Silverback and gives us some freezing damage if we use the proper skill cards. Skill cards will be in the description below as well. The Brawler is great for that dash and bash and the burn abilities, and Blademaster is great because if we're going to be spending some time in the early Venom, and that really ups the damage and bleed output of that class. So they're, like I said, not the best, not the worst classes by any means, not our recommended classes. Like I said, I'll link the recommended classes from our original guide in the description below, so you can check that out if you want to. But enough of the pretense, let's get into the video itself. As you come out of the spawn room, there's only one way you can really go until you get to this first split. You go left or right, and in this first area there are 3 separate ammo rooms that you're going to want to go to. There's rejects in these, so you do need to be careful and make sure that you don't spread out too much and end up getting yourselves downed. And again, because the poison reject modifier is active, you're going to end up with pools of poison on the ground whenever you kill a reject. Now, that may not sound like a big deal, but when we're playing on Master Difficulty, that poison can really add up very quickly and can end up doing a lot of damage. So you can see we're in the southernmost of the ammo rooms. My minimap is set to rotate as I change which way I'm looking, but you see the arrow that's at the top of the minimap right now, that's north, so we are in the southernmost of the first 3 ammo rooms, kind of picking up a little bit of ammo for our sidearms. One of these rooms has a boom shot, and I believe another room has a long shot, so pretty good weapons that you do want to spend the time to get. What we like to do is, with this class setup, we do stick together a little bit more than we did in the original guide. We spread out a lot more in the original guide, but because these weren't our preferred classes, we're going to stick together just to have each other's backs. You can see I grabbed a long shot from that sniper enemy after we killed him, and Pyro's doing a great job of using that dash and bash burn to really get the burn damage going on some enemies. So here we are in the eastern ammo room. There's the boom shot that I was talking about just a moment ago, and there's some ammo and grenades in here, so make sure you divvy up what we have available, so everybody is starting to stock up on weapons. You could also see that I had a flash nade a moment ago when I was changing my weapons, so Beardsley, he's playing as the Jin bot, is going to take frags, drop a flash, and I'm going to pick up that flash, giving me 2 flash grenades now. And now again, we're going to work our way to the right, kind of circling around. There's one more ammo room that we're going to want to get to. And the tricky part is you do have to clear the spot very quickly because you are right at the beginning, and you can see the early Venom is already filling up this entire area. This is the last ammo room, and it is rather difficult because you can see back here where I'm looking now, we have enemies behind us, we have enemies in front of us. There's not a lot of safe space to really sit, so what we like to do, or what we decided to do, is we're going to have Pyro and Beardsley kind of look ahead. I was trying to take out the enemies behind us, but that really didn't end up working. Couldn't get my sniper shots to work, couldn't get my boom shot to work, so it didn't work out the way we had planned. There we go, you see that was the shot I was looking for. Took out 4 enemies with that boom shot from a distance, so we don't have that pressure behind us anymore. So now we're going to come into this ammo room. There's explosive ammo in here, which is great for whoever decided to grab the boom shot, and since that was me, it worked out great. Also going to grab the stim pack because I don't generate stim with my card setup, which there is a card, I believe, that you can generate stim as the pilot, but I didn't end up taking it. Again, you can check out what we ran for the skills below the video if you so choose. So here we go, we got a long shot. This is where those enemies were that I took down with the boom shot, and this is the only way to advance. This is moving further down, or further into the map, I should say. You've got a kind of a choke point here, which can be a little bit difficult because you got to get across this open area, and there's a lot of enemies on the other side of the bridge. I don't know what you want to call it, this opening doorway. I decided to kind of hold back and use the boom shot to take out a couple. Beardsley ran ahead, hoping to get up close and personal and really do some work with his knife because the early venom was already up here. So we ended up doing a little bit of teamwork, and between the boom shot and Pyro's fire and my Beardsley's knife, we cleared him out relatively quickly, and that brings us to what we call the reject flood, or the reject rush. You're going to have two excuse me, you're going to have 2 ammo rooms, one on the left and one on the right, and you end up getting swarmed by a lot of rejects. There's got to be at least a dozen and a half rejects here, and conventional wisdom, the way that we usually like to handle this, is either lure them all into one of the ammo rooms and then lock them in, but it didn't end up working out because we ended up splitting up and didn't communicate properly. So Pyro went to town using that dash and bash and that burn and spreading the fire out. I used the boom shot to drop a large group of the rejects down into the crawling position, I guess. And Beardsley was just holding his own in this ammo room. You can see all the poison on the floor. He was going to town with his melee, bleeding out the rejects just about as quickly as they could come in the door. So a couple of different methods that you can use. Don't forget you do have grenades, both the frag grenades and the flash grenades, and you can use those flash grenades to stun the rejects and then, like I said, lock them in one of these ammo rooms and you don't have to deal with them. But whatever happens, make sure you grab the ammo that is in these rooms so you're not running empty, as we still got a little ways to go before we get to the midway point of the map. So after you get past that reject rush, the reject flood, we're going to continue right on up here. I think this is actually the last room, but there's a pretty big fight in here, and you could see Pyro was lagging behind a little bit, just trying to scout out whatever weapons and ammo he could find. And here we go, you see that we've got 2 scions and a whole bunch of smaller enemies, and this is a great time. I'm going to use it here. I use a flash grenade just to try to buy a moment. The flash doesn't do anything. So we start throwing grenades down there, and just to buy myself time to use the silverback, and I go to work using the salvo and the mulcher, just trying to clean up as many of these enemies as I can. I do have the freeze card active, or the freeze skill active, so these enemies, once they get down below, I think it's like 25% health, are going to start freezing up. You see right there that scion froze up, even though it was bleed damage that was doing it. It still counts, still works. So he ended up freezing up, and that silverback did take out quite a few of the enemies. We do have had a drone and a sniper left, but you can see right there, Beardsley and Pyro down there cleaning them up. So once he was down, we come on in here. I'm going to grab the mulchers and the long shot, and then Beardsley and Pyro are going to scout out whatever they want or whatever they can for ammo and weapons. And here we are already at the midway point. So we're going to have Pyro shut the door, and we're going to skip the safe room. There's some ammo, some grenades that you can grab, but we're going to jump right into the second act here. And as you come out of the safe room, you're going to come up these stairs here, and there's a couple of different ways you can go about dealing with this horde of rejects. conventional wisdom, again, is to take whatever explosives you have and kite as many of the rejects down the stairs that you just came up as possible, cluster them together, and then use your explosives to take them out of commission. But we ended up using a different method. Pyro and Beardsley, with their increased melee damage, really tried to go to work just attacking like normal. And my job, which I did a terrible job with, was to use the boom shot and my standard weaponry to try and take down the bastions that were protecting the rejects. Instead, I ended up calling an audible, trying to take out a group of rejects with the boom shot. I missed my shot there, so both me and Beardsley were down, or Beardsley and I were down. Pyro was able to get us both back up, and we kind of ended up scrambling a little bit here. The plan fell apart, and I did use the grenades that I had to try and put some damage, some hurt on those bastions. And you can see the number of rejects, there's quite a few of them, but Beardsley and Pyro did a great job of thinning their ranks really, really quickly. And we actually got through this relatively fast. You definitely could do it a lot quicker, but, you know, I'm very happy with how this whole section ended up going at the end of the day. Something to be aware of is that you are in pretty tight quarters here. I mean, the rooms themselves are open, but there's a lot of enemies, which means there's a lot of poison on the ground, so you do have to be aware of that. And then there are some weapons that you can scout out on the ground in this area. There is a Breaker Mace, there's a Lancer GL, which I'm going to pick up. I swap out my boom shot for it, and I think there's a couple other weapons as well, but this is what we end up taking forward with us. You can see there that I believe that's Pyro has the Breaker Mace. I would hope it's Beardsley. Yeah, it's Beardsley, okay, because of the Blademaster class. And here we go, we're into the next room. It's the room that has sort of a divide. You've got two rooms left and right that you can go through, and you can't really go right up the middle of this area because there is a barrier that you cannot jump across, so you have to choose one way or the other. And again, because we have two strong melee classes, we're going to have Pyro and Beardsley kind of branch out and guard each flank. I'm going to focus on the back half of the room here, trying to take out the hunters, just so they don't start lobbing torque shots at us. I did get downed with those elite drones with the claws. They do a lot of damage very quickly. It's very annoying. But you can see we're slowly starting to clear these guys out, and then we're going to end up heading over to this right-hand room. There is, I believe there's an ammo room in one of these side rooms that you can definitely scout some additional ammo out of. See, I just whiffed on that elite hunter shot there, but I take him out with the second one. So we're in pretty good shape. We are keeping ahead of the Venom, which is nice, because the end of this map you are going to want to have a little bit of extra time, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But here's the ammo room I was talking about. We got some cog tags in here to help with your score, your time. And there is a weapon locker here, which you can absolutely throw your weapons into and have them load up. And that's another nice thing about being ahead of the Venom a little bit, is that you have a little bit more time for your weapons to restock on ammo before moving forward. You can see over there the silhouette of Beardsley. He's doing some executions on some rejects that are still hanging out, and we're just going to mark out shock grenades or anything else that we deem useful. Beardsley was already over here getting into the other ammo room, which again, we've got some cog tags, we've got some ammo, and a few other weapons that you can choose from, frag grenades, and excuse me, and some explosive ammo pouches. So, you know, a lot of good stuff to load up on before we head on to the next section of the map. The next section is quite difficult. We do have two scions that are each being guarded by a bastion, which does make them very formidable. The geometry, the layout of the room does not give you a lot of room to work, or does not give you a lot of angles to work as the scions approach. We tried a couple of different methods to get through this part, including luring the scions all the way back into the more open room, so we would be able to more easily dispatch the bastions that were protecting them, but we decided that that takes way too long, and we wouldn't actually recommend this as our normal go-to strategy. Here we go, we got one Mulcher Scion coming down. Pyro did run up here a little earlier than we wanted him to, and he set a shock nade, thinking that it might help to take out the rejects that started advancing on us, but unfortunately he didn't set it in a great place. The Scion ended up setting it off, and we got no use out of that shock nade at all. So we're going to fall back. I still got my sniper rifle, the long shot. We're going to bank on me being able to take out that bastion. You can see Pyro used the train right there to try and buy us some time, get some bleed damage going. He ended up getting downed because I wasn't able to get that Bastion off the board fast enough, and it's looking a little dicey right now. I'm dodging rejects, we got a Scion advancing, Pyro's down, but Beardsley's taking the long way around to get Pyro back on his feet before that Scion doubles back and executes him. I don't have any way to really easily take these guys out, so I'm going to toss a frag grenade just to buy myself a little bit of room, gets them off their feet, and lets me get by them and grab some more ammo for my long shot. As you can see, we've got Beardsley, who still has the Breaker Mace, and he's making good use of that. The Venom has already caught up to us. You can see that Deadly Venom's already right here in the room with us, and we still have one Scion and Bastion to get through before we can really make it to the end. And this little room up here is exactly what I was talking about earlier, where you don't have great angles to work with. So we have a few enemies. You can see the rejects that I'm marking and the rejects that are advancing on us. Beardsley definitely could take them out with the Breaker Mace, but he's trying to save that mace to make short work of the Scion once we have the Bastion off the map. And there's the Bastion. I was hoping to get a headshot through the back. It happens sometimes. It didn't happen there, unfortunately. And it did get the attention of that last Mulcher Scion, and he's advancing on us. But those stairs really make it difficult not only to get angles, but to get around. You see that he had a perfect angle on me shooting between those pillars. He downed me, he downed Pyro. Beardsley's the only one up. I thought for sure that Scion was coming over to execute me, but he does not. So I head over, start crawling towards Beardsley, who went up and around, because there are some side stairs that you can use to try to get angles. But again, you have to run past those middle stairs in order to get to them, and that can be very tricky. So we're a little spread out right now. We're doing our best to try to drop this Bastion as quickly as possible. Pyro finally takes down the Bastion using a torque bow, but I ended up getting down by a torque bow. Beardsley is also down way over there. There's a lot of chaos happening right now. Pyro is the only one on his feet, and he's held back a little bit to try and lure the Scion away from us. And now again, that Scion with the Mulcher, he deals so much damage so quickly, and I'm trying to just get a few headshots as quickly as I can. I really don't want to use the Silverback right here just for this one Scion. So Pyro said, I'm going to try and block him. He gets right in front of the Scion and slows him down so I can get Beardsley on his feet. And Pyro sacrifices himself. Unfortunately, we weren't able to kill the Scion before the Scion executed Pyro, so we are down a man going into the helicopter finale, the helipad finale, and the final door hold. So you can see we got a couple of enemies that are left on the left-hand side here. It was really looking hairy here. Beardsley got downed. I decided to risk it. I go back into the Venom to get him. I don't know how I didn't die. I had enemies shooting at me. I was almost dead in the Venom. There's an elite hunter right there, and the Venom actually got so far ahead of us that it started to close the door without us needing to hit the lever. So I run up here. I use the Lancer GL, and it's like, all right, now is why I have saved this Silverback. I go to town using the Mulcher, using the salvo, holding back everything that I can. It's pretty much a bloodbath. I do take some pretty big hits from those hunters that were left in there, but it bought us enough time to get these doors shut. I lob one more GL through the door just to be safe, and even though we're a man down, we made it to the helipad, and that's it. That is how we make it through the corruption with our alternate class setup. We hope this helped. I hope you guys found this video useful. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, bye-bye. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please like and subscribe. You can also check us out on Twitch at Hammer Bros Gaming. I am Blades of God, and until next time, have a great day everyone.